What's going on YouTube? It's Bandwagonbam here reacting to the Battle for Camden. AGB versus 51st. And yeah, we all know who AGB is and we all know 51st is. So AGB is like Suspect, T-Scam, Too Smoky, all of them lot. And 51st is, I don't know, I just know Chinks. But let's run it.
Now, the London borough of Camden is well known for its market, fashion, and nightlife. The borough is among the top 20 most...
What, Camden's got good nightlife? I didn't know that.
The borough of Camden is well known for its market, fashion, and nightlife. The borough is among the top 20 most dangerous boroughs within London. In 2023, the crime rate within Camden was 109 crimes per 1,000 people. This then coming in 4.5% higher than London's crime rate. Camden has also been the hometown to many popular rappers and hip-hop groups. An example of this being N-Dubs. In recent years, the population...
I didn't know they was from there. I didn't know. I just thought everybody, because they came out so early, I thought everybody was just from my ends at the time.
Within Camden has actually increased by a large amount, with around 262,000 residents living within Camden town. However, what a lot of these residents don't know, 162,000.
So that, if there's that much people living there, and 10% of them are committing crime, that means it's like 26,000 of these guys are committing crime every day.
1,000 residents living within Camden town. However, what a lot of these residents don't know about is the violent gang wars that have been playing out within the streets of Camden, resulting in people being stabbed, shot, and even being killed. Due to this war, members involved in the war would begin to gain attention in the UK drill scene after rapping about the crimes that they had committed. One of these people would be Tariq Montero, who would rap under the name Suspect and would be a part of the gang known as Active Gang. Active Gang actually had a handful of rappers who all gained millions of streams around 2020 and 2021. These rappers include Striker, Suspect,
Wagwan Pokey.
T-Scam. In 2021, these members would appear to be on top of the drill scene. However, since then, all of them have ended up in prison serving long sentences, leaving one member to continue to carry the Active Gang name. Now, in order to understand how Active Gang reached the top of the drill scene and then seemingly fell, we have to talk about the beef they had with other gangs that resulted in stabbings and shootings being carried out within the Camden streets. Active Gang is a gang based on the Agar Grove estate within Camden. The gang mainly operates around this estate. Active Gang is also referred to as AG or AGB. The gang is predominantly Somali and was formed around the early 2010s from older gangs like Centric and TMS. The estate that the gang is mainly based on was also demolished and rebuilt in recent years, this being due to a redevelopment project.
Man said, yeah, Camden looks so funny place. I don't get how it's so happy but so grimy at the same time. It's like the Mad Hatter's Tea Party in Alice in Wonderland, bro.
Within the area. AGB is affiliated with nearby FSG, CT1, and NRB, with these gangs even going on to form an alliance around 2019 known as 71st, as the areas taken up by the gangs were NW1 and NW7. Since then, however, the 71st name has died out and isn't really a thing anymore. The main rivals of Active Gang are Cumbo, Queen's Crescent, and Peckwater, who would also form an alliance which is referred to as 51st, being based around both NW5 and NW1. It's also to note that AGB have a very close affiliation with HRB and 156 from West London, with these gangs often sharing the same beef, this mainly being South Kilburn and CGM.
That's what I don't get, yeah, is these man's blocks are like an hour away. How are you gliding on someone an hour away? Because Camden to Ladbroke Grove is like an hour. How do you even encounter people that you don't like from an hour away? That always bamboozles me.
West London. With these Active Gang, we need to talk about their rivals, who they have been in a deadly feud with deadly incidents taking place within the streets that eventually end up in drill songs that gain millions of views. Now, 51st is an alliance of gangs based around the postcodes NW5 and NW1. These gangs include Peckwater, Cumbo, and Queen's Crescent. All three of these gangs rep the color blue and have beef with nearby Active Gang, CT1, and NRB. The 51st Alliance also has links to SSK in South Kilburn, Stonebridge, and EC1. In recent years, members associated with this gang would begin to rap. These include Gutter and C2.
UK Drill Plug. Is that me? Yes, UK Drill Plug. This is your video right now, bro. Come on. You know what we supporting.
Members of 51st and members of AGB and surrounding gangs would actually be friends before the beef around the 2010s. However, this would all change around the early 2010s, with it being thought that the beef would begin after a watch was stolen from a member of one of the gangs. This then resulting in groups of teenagers banding together and beginning to beef each other, resulting in stabbings and shootings occurring within the streets. One of the earliest incidents between these gangs would occur around August 2017. On the 22nd of August 2017, members of 51st would allegedly ride onto Agar Grove's estate with a shotgun. The members would then shoot it off in the car park of the Agar Grove estate. A man would end up being shot in the head with the attackers fleeing. Witnesses would rush to the man, who by this point was bleeding like crazy. Luckily, the man would go on to survive, with witnesses to the crime even beginning to record the incident. And it would be around 2 weeks later that another incident would occur, this time claiming the life of a prominent Cracktown member known as Mitch, who was supposedly the boss of the gang that would then become Active Gang.
Bro, I actually hate ads on YouTube, you know. Like, I don't mind you to watch my ads, because I'm calm with that, but like, oh, no, I have to allow it, man. It's UK Drill Plug.
On the 4th of September 2017, a 20-year-old member of Cracktown known as Mitch would be walking around Granby Terrace within Camden. A member of the rival gang 51st known as Flips would spot Mitch. Flips would stab Mitch multiple times before then being chased down by an off-duty police officer who would then arrest him on the scene. Sadly, Mitch would be pronounced dead moments later.
What a way to get bagged. You get bagged literally in a moment. The guy doesn't want UK Drill Plug to you. Bro, I just watched this ad, bro. He took my lammy, bro.
With Flips then going on to be charged and found guilty for the murder of Mitch, with it being known that Flips was actually shot by a member of Active Gang in the months prior. Anyways, in December 2018, Flips would be sentenced to life with a minimum of 17 years for the murder. Rest in peace, Mitch. Now, Mitch was credited to be one of the founders of Cracktown, which would then go on to become Active Gang in later years. The beef would be somewhat quiet following the death of Mitch, with the incidents that occurred not really being reported in the news. However, in February, the death of a loved Peckwater member would spark the war in Camden once again, resulting in 6 people dying in the space of 1 year. Around February 2018,
Man says 6 people dead in 1 year of gang beef. That is crazy. That is insane.
a girl would begin to organize a house party in Kensington. She would invite around 50 people from the Hackney area within North London, but made sure not to invite any boys from Camden, as she knew about the rivalry in Camden. The party was set to take place on the 17th of February 2018. Once this day came around, members of the Tottenham collective OFB would arrive and would begin to have a good time. After a few hours of the party, a member of the Peckwater 51st gang in Camden would arrive with his friends, this member being Dottie. Dottie and his friends would force themselves into the party. Dottie also apparently had a knife on him, whilst his friend had a firearm. At this point in the party, the members of OFB and Dottie and his friends would get into a confrontation. The confrontation would move outside and would result in Dottie running away from the members. Dottie wouldn't make it far before a member of OFB known as Boogie B would catch up and would stab him multiple times. The attackers would flee, with Dottie being pronounced dead on the scene moments later. The attackers would be arrested and charged for the murder. Boogie B would be found guilty months later and would be sentenced to life with a minimum of 20 years.
So does that mean them man's beef is frying? Wait, did they even have beef before this or no? If they didn't have beef before this, then that's dumb, because like, I don't know, man. It's easy to talk to each other. Bro, it's tapped.
Rest in peace, Dottie. Now, members of 51st would be the first to find out that Dottie had fallen victim to the streets, and in the days following his death, they would be planning to catch and kill any rivals. This then leading to multiple members of 51st riding out and killing 2 rivals in one night, this marking one of the deadliest nights in Camden's history. On the 20th of February 2018, 3 days after the death of Dottie, 3 members of 51st, being Stings, Frosty, and Gambino, would travel from the Peckwater estate in Camden onto rival Active Gang territory. The members would spot an...
But why would they go there if they said OFB did it? Oh. Yo. Oh, it's pattern now. Alright, yeah. Why would they ride out on AGB if they said OFB done it? That is mad.
alleged affiliate of active gang known as AK. They would then jump out on him. AK would notice this and would attempt to flee. However, the 51st members would stab him in his chest and back multiple times. AK would die on the scene, with the 51st members then getting back into their car and fleeing. Over the next few hours, the 51st members would travel all the way to the Broadwater Farm Estate, which is home to OFB, this being an attempt at finding any OFB members, as Dottie's killer was an OFB member. They would then also go to ZT's block within Hackney. The 51st members would have no luck and would then travel back to Camden, where they would then encounter S45.
How did they know, like, where to go? So you just said, alright, them man's meant to chill on Broadwater Farm, let's slide on Broadwater Farm. And whoever you see, like, that's what I'm saying. You're on a glide, yeah? And you see a nigga with a hood up on the up block, yeah? Do you bun him, or do you say, where you from? Or a witty bang? Because, like, you doing a where are you from is like, must say UAV. And you doing all of that, a where you from thing could get you bun anyway. But then, you got to be like 100% sure what you're doing is who you're doing at the same time, bro. Because you don't want to go to jail for an innocent person, bro.
From active gang and a friend. The attackers would jump out of the car and would begin to chase them. S45 and his friend would split up, with his friend managing to hide in a shop. S45 would make an attempt to get into a car that drove past. He would then tell the driver to drive quickly, but by this time, the 51st members had caught up and would drag S45 out of the car, stabbing him multiple times.
Oh, so that's like that situation that we saw, that everyone saw the other day with that light skin.
51st members had caught up and would drag S45 out of the car, stabbing him multiple times. The attackers would flee once again, with S45 being pronounced dead on the scene. Police would be investigating the double murder following this, and 2 days later, Stings would be on the scene. Police would be investigating the double murder following this, and 2 days later, Stings would be arrested. Frosty from 51st would then also be arrested days later. These two members would go on to be charged with the double murder. Gambino would have fled England by this time, going to France. However, police would arrest him in France and would bring him back to England, where he was also charged. In 2018, Frosty from 51st would go on to be sentenced to life with a minimum of 23 years. On the 9th of July 2019, Stings would be found guilty and would be sentenced to life with a minimum of 28 years. And finally, on the 18th of July 2020, Gambino would be sentenced to life with a minimum of 21 years. Rest in peace, AK and S45. This double murder would have a massive impact on AG members, with it being known that Suspect would receive the news that his two friends had died whilst being in prison, saying that he shed tears upon hearing the news, but would make it his mission to avenge his friends upon being released. When Suspect would begin rapping, he would often mention both S45 and AK in his lyrics. In Suspect's debut album, Suspicious Activity, on the track titled Thrill, he would rap, "Avenge my friend, I'm supposed to do that. Real street had to go through that. Shed some tears, then jumped in the ride, jumped out like, who's that? 1 pack, 2 pack. This just showing how hurt Suspect was from losing both of his closest friends in one night. Although, this doesn't justify the deadly murders Suspect would allegedly go on to commit in the months following his release in 2019, with police beginning to hunt him, all whilst he was hiding in Kenya building a massive fan base with his music. But in the end, his violent past would catch up to him. Now, other members would also begin to get active in the streets around this time, examples being T-Scam, Yevs, and Broad Day. Another member that is often recognized with active gang is that of Striker, who around this time wasn't actually repping the AGB gang, but instead the gang from Tooting known as 417, this mainly being due to issues that members had with each other, although nowadays Striker reps active gang. Around the beginning of 2019, Suspect would be released from prison and would begin to get straight back into the streets, often catching rivals in the deadliest of circumstances. Around the end of March 2019, Suspect along with Hitman and Broad Day would all link up and would drop one of the first songs released between the gangs, this being known as Money and Violence, which would gain a small amount of attention before ultimately being deleted and not being seen until around 2022 and 2023. But it would be only 4 days after the initial release of this song that a member associated with Queen's Crescent within 51st would be killed by active gang in one of the most gruesome ways.
The O2 sale is now on. Save up to £600.
On the 1st of April 2019, C-Max, who was from the gang QC with
Hey, love for the bits, lurks, man, appreciate it.
in the 51st Alliance would be leaving a cafe within Camden. CMIS would allegedly be messaged and would be notified that members of the rival active gang were in the area. At around 8:30 p.m., 4 members of active gang would be driving around Camden. They would spot CMIS, who would begin to run at this point. The 4 members would exit the car and would begin to chase CMIS. CMIS would actually make it quite far before the members would catch up and would stab him multiple times with machetes and screwdrivers. Part of this attack was caught on a nearby dash cam. The attackers would then flee in the car and would supposedly get rid of it. Sadly, CMIS would be pronounced dead on the scene, with his mum even being one of the first people to find out, rushing to the scene where CMIS was suffering multiple stab wounds. Now, since then, the murder has remained
That is sad, man. That is very sad.
unsolved, with people on Reddit speculating who the killers are based on song lyrics and posts. However, I won't be speculating within this video, as no one has actually been convicted. Rest in peace, CMIS. Following the death of CMIS, a younger member of 51st would begin to get active within the streets, this member being Culprit, who according to the internet had something to do with the death of Neds from the Cali Road Gang 2 months earlier. Members of active gang and affiliated gangs.
No, I think they genuinely care, bro. Because, like, example, if somebody stabbed your right hand or killed your right hand, then you're gonna feel like you're going to feel like it's necessary to go do my man worse. That is just human nature, I would say.
Knew this and would begin to watch Culprit, with Culprit even being caught by an active gang younger around this time, with the member pressuring him and recording. It would also be around May 2019 that a prominent member of active gang known as AR would be stabbed multiple times by 51st members. Luckily, AR would make a recovery. However, this would then go on to spark the deadly incident.
But why do people push and shove their friends when they get run down? I don't know why they leave their friends. No, I get why they leave their friends. I don't get why they push their friends. Like, that is crazy. Like, I've seen niggas shoot at niggas, yeah, and people push them. Nah, man, that's not human nature. It's not human nature to kill your friends or put your friends in harm's way. It's human nature to, like, if somebody's shooting, to grab your friends and bring them down and, like, duck and that, but, like, not push them over, like, booby trap.
To come in the months following AR's stabbing. Culprit would actually be an aspiring drill rapper and would often go to the studio around this time, and it would be around October 2020, after his death, that one of his songs would be leaked onto the internet, this titled CRK, or Cali Road Killer. In this song, he would rap the line,
Nah, for real, because like in somebody's past, like, they've been shot at hella times, innit? I'm just saying, not me, somebody's past, innit? They've been shot at hella times, innit? With their brothers and that, and none of them pushed each other. Not once. They grab each other and, like, get out of here, like, let's go. But, like, it hasn't been like, oh, push. Like, that is crazy.
More time I just knocked down yours, no ginger.
This lyric becoming eerie when you come to learn that Culprit would be killed months later, with him knocking on doors of homes whilst running from his attackers.
Now,
on the 12th
wicked.
of August 2019, at around 10 p.m., 16-year-old Culprit and his friends would be eating at a Nando's on Great Portland Street, with a photo even being taken showing Culprit and Gutter on that night. At around 10:30 p.m., Culprit would exit the Nando's with his friends. A car holding Suspect, S Wavy, and SY would be looking for
Now, why did they always use this picture of him? Why did they always use this picture, bro?
retaliation after the stabbing of AR. They would spot Culprit. Suspect would jump out of the car whilst wielding a zombie killer knife. The 3 members would take chase on foot, going into a building within Cumbo. They wouldn't find Culprit, who was outside. The other members in the car, including AR and another man, would spot Culprit, who had made an escape from the building. Culprit would also spot AR and the other man, Suspect. SY and S Wavy would be notified about this, with the members then taking chase on foot whilst AR would follow in a car. Culprit would be split off from his friends, with it even being known that in his final moments, he would be banging on doors and begging for people to let him in. However, the AGB members would catch up to Culprit in Munster Square. Culprit would be stabbed in the chest with a zombie killer knife. The attackers would then flee following the stabbing, with witnesses stating that they ran off laughing. The members would all be picked up in the car driven by AR and would flee the murder. Police would be called to the scene following the stabbing, with Culprit being pronounced dead moments later, and another murder investigation being launched. Following the murder, Suspect and S Wavy would flee to Paris, with it even being alleged that a member associated with 51st, known as DS, would catch Suspect in Paris, with this incident seemingly getting confrontational. Both members then fleeing to Kenya, where they would remain for 3 years, seemingly getting confrontational.
Don't forget who you were when What do you mean? If my man killed your friend and you're just gonna snatch at him, that don't make no sense. You didn't even like chop off a hand or something.
Both members then fleeing to Kenya, where they would remain for 3 years before then being brought back to England in 2023. During the time that they were on the run, both members would become extremely well-known rappers, with them like
DS bucked him and they fought or something. Okay.
wishing that they made a different decision on that night. SY would flee to Somalia, often posting on social media. SY has still not been caught for the murder.
Yeah, because in Somalia they can't send you back. There's no extradition treaty.
Supposedly evading the law back in England. Rest in peace, culprit. Whilst on the run in Kenya, Suspect would begin to take his music career seriously. On the 16th of December 2019, he would release the song Way Too Charged. This song showed the UK drill community the potential Suspect had. Suspect would turn a lot of heads when he would rap the bar. Just said hi to a next man's mum. She don't know I'm a killer's son. Following this, other members would also begin to drop music. In 2019, T-Scam, who repped FSG, would begin to drop music as well. He wasn't as known as other members, but was still dropping seriously hard verses. Later in 2020, T-Scam would begin to rep the AGB gang along with Suspect, Striker, and 2 Smokey. 2020 was actually a very successful year.
Hey, you look. Hey, remind me. I need to make a poll on my community page here. So if you're not following me already, go check my community page and subscribe. Yeah, I need to make a poll saying, do we think we're ever gonna get like a SJ, a Suspect, a Lowski, a LD, a CB ever and draw again?
For AGB. During 2020, a member of AGB would start to drop songs. This member, known as 2 Smokey, who would drop the heavily disrespectful track Knockdown Ginger. This song mocked Culprit for knocking on doors before dying. Knockdown Ginger gained loads of attention, but it would be the next release that would really explode Active Gang into the spotlight. On the 23rd of December 2020, Suspect and 2 Smokey would link up with Fumes the Engineer and would release a Plugged In. This song went extremely viral, with lyrics hinting to Suspect's involvement in the death of Culprit. On the 5th verse, rapped by the rappers, Suspect would rap the following lyrics. It went through his chest and came out his back, other way round when Rex got whacked. The music video to this song included an actor that played Suspect whilst he was on the run in Kenya. The video was actually quickly taken down, although re-uploads still do exist. This Plugged In gained millions.
2 mil on a re-upload.
Video was actually quickly taken down, although re-upload.
That is insane.
Would still do exist. This Plugged In gained millions of streams, currently sitting on around 20 million streams on Spotify. AGB would end the year with another song being released. This featured T-Scam and Suspect, this song being titled Turn Up. Within this song, Suspect would actually rap about the pain he felt when S45 and AK died, where he rapped, "Miss AK and S45, till all of them die. This beef won't die." Now, 2020 would also see the releases of other songs, including the Hotspot Freestyle, which was released on the 4th of October 2020, with this song racking up millions of streams, currently sitting on around 14 million streams. 2021 would start as a great year for AGB musically, with 2 Smokey releasing his most popular single titled Corn, which currently sits on a whopping 26 million streams.
Yeah, this video is annoying me, yeah, because like I done a TikTok to this. Me and deewagon when TikTok first come out, and it got taken down for Saturn breaching community guidelines with weapons or some nonsense. I was like, what the hell?
Which is insane for a UK drill rapper. However, it would be following this that 2 Smokey would quit music and leave the road life, with him beginning to focus on religion. This always being good to see that someone is able to escape the gang life. Another AGB member would start to get popular around this time, this being Broad, who would drop multiple songs within 2021, gaining millions of views. If anything, during 2021, Suspect and AGB would be taking over the UK drill scene, quickly gaining millions of views. Suspect.
Do you know how I know like Suspect was a different type of artist here and AGB as a whole? Because when I used to go live on YouTube and I'm reacting to their songs on my premiere, I'll have like 1,000, 2,000 people in there.
Would drop multiple songs in 2021. This included Whoosh and Push with the rapper Lowski, Block Heroes with Nino Uptown, and Double Tap with Fredo, which was actually Suspect's first charting song. This song peaked top 73 in the UK charts, cementing Suspect's first ever song to chart. But it would be at the beginning of 2022 that Suspect would tease his upcoming album titled Suspicious Activity, and it would be on the 6th of February 2022 that the album would release. This album had 12 tracks total, with all of these songs now sitting on over 1 million million streams. At this point, Suspect had actually built himself a huge fan base from around the world, but what he forgot about was the fact that police were still investigating him and S-Wavy, who by this point had basically snitched on themselves in every song that they had released. And it would be only a week before the release of Suspicious Activity that police in Kenya would make a move on Sus and S-Wavy. Both would be arrested in Nairobi, Kenya, and would be sent back to England to face the charges put towards them. Both Suspect and S-Wavy would be charged for the murder, and on the 12th of May 2023, Suspect would be sentenced to life with a minimum of 24 years, whilst S-Wavy would be sentenced to life with a minimum of 23 years for the murder of Culprit. Suspect and
Hey, I got a question. You see when they say, yeah, like, you have to do a minimum of 24 years, example, yeah? Does that mean you have to do 24 years, then you can appeal to get out? Or does it mean you do a minimum of, like, half of it still?
S-Wavy musically would both be a massive loss to Active Gang, whose only free rappers included Broad Day, Striker, and T-Scam. Around this time, members of Active Gang would begin to do one of the most disrespectful things I think I've ever seen. The members would travel to the memorials of their dead rivals.
You do half. Alright. You feel good.
And would flex the musical plaques they had been given by platforms like Grime Daily, Mixtape Madness, and Pac-Man. They would post up outside the memorial of Culprit and C-Miz, and then would post up at Gucci's mum's home, Gucci being an alleged member of SSK, who was supposedly killed by Active Gang. In 2021, T-Scam would be quite active in the music scene, dropping a song titled Freestyle, which currently sits on 5 million views. He would then drop a plugged-in freestyle, which had one of the best flows I think I've ever heard. T-Scam would flow on this beat, with the song also gaining millions of views, currently sitting on 3.3 million views. Even though T-Scam was blowing up within the drill scene, what fans didn't know was that he was still knee-deep in the street life, and it would be at the beginning of 2023 that T-Scam would end up committing a broad day shooting that would subsequently end in him being sentenced to 21 years. On the 14th of January 2023, 300 people would be attending a funeral service held within Houston. This funeral was held for 2 girls, with people even speculating that one—
What the hell? He went Houston? What the hell? That's central London. He's doing bootings in central London. That is crazy.
one of the girls that died had connections to the rapper from one side. However, this isn't confirmed. Anyways, whilst the funeral was in service, active gang member T-Scam, as well as 4 other members, would be armed with a shotgun. The members would use a car and would drive past the funeral. T-Scam would begin shooting into the crowd, with him hitting around 6 girls, with all injuries being non-fatal. However, among the people hit was a 7-year-old girl, as well as a 12-year-old girl, who sustained a leg injury, who were just there to pay their respects. T-Scam and the others would be quickly arrested following the shooting, and in the end, T-Scam would be found guilty and sentenced to 21 years with 5 years under license after. This incident was actually portrayed within one of T-Scam's lyrics around 2 years before it actually happened. On his freestyle, he rapped, "I'm gonna lean out the ride on a gang ting with this hand ting and let sweeties fly out the star. I'm with my bros in this stolen car." Following T-Scam's arrest, the AGB—
That's what I'm saying. Stuff like that, you speak into existence. You speak into existence, literally. That's how I'll say, I'm gonna be rich. I'll speak that into existence every time.
gang would seemingly go quiet for months, with Striker dropping songs every now and then, dropping 2 hotspots in 2022 and a plugged in, before then allegedly being arrested on unknown charges. In 2023, Broad Day would only drop 1 song, this being titled I Made It, and featured Morrison. This song did very well, currently sitting on 1.4 million views. However, Broad Day is the definition of quality over quantity, as we haven't seen any new music since July 2023. Striker would be released during 2023, but wouldn't be out for long, before then being recalled in 2024. Whilst being out, he would record the music videos to 2 songs which he planned to release before getting arrested. However, due to his arrest, the release was delayed. Eventually, on the 14th of April 2024, Striker would drop a seriously cold song titled Lapse. This song gained a small amount of attention within the streets, and only a month later, Striker would drop his Hood's Hottest freestyle, which sits on 20,000 views. Now, Striker is currently in prison, this then leaving only 1 rapper out, that being Broad Day, who often stays in America and rarely goes back to the UK, which is probably a good thing, considering how dangerous the streets have become. Other youngers from the AGB gang have also started to load music, an example of this being Grims, who is starting to make music, this then meaning he could bring back the AG name, but I guess we have to wait and see. If you have learned anything from this video, make sure it's to stay out of the streets, as this life only ever leads to jail or death, rarely leading to anything positive. A prime example of this being Suspect, whose music career had completely blown with him gaining millions of views, but due to his close ties with the streets and violent past, he would end up in jail serving life. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe.
Alright, I'm not gonna lie, that it's their beef gets frying clearly, man. Their beef ain't something to play with. Stop lying. Streets lead to drill music, which equals success. Nah, not all the time, bro. Because a lot of the time when you get your success, you end up in prison or dead. Literally, man. There's no even worth it, man. You might as well just live like a normal life, become a streamer, become something else. It's the biggest gamble ever, bro. It's like winning the lottery. Literally, not worth it at all, bro. Too much cameras, too much technology. It's just the arse and all. But listen, you lot, tell me what you think about that yourself in the comments below, and we out. Peace.
Back out, slap it out. Short but I bang like Pacquiao. Man just ping it or ching it. If I ain't did it, I still bring back out. Kyle's probably hit squad baby, hit squad crazy, rip man's